Hey, I'm Jen. I'm here
Yeah.
to podcast.
You're listening to the all-new Culture Cast, Chicagoland's finest podcast.
I am the Gorehound.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Jen.
And we are the all-new Culture Cast, back for another episode. This episode is
Woo!
Gremlins Appreciation Night, one of my favorite movies. And Nick and Jen have decided to give it a watch for your first times, right?
My first time all the way through, yes.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, I had one of those, those things you used to draw on where it was like, you would like lift the sheet of contact paper and it would disappear, but you could like write on it. I don't remember what those things were called. Anyway,
I kind of do.
I had one of those with Gremlins at the top. Had I seen the movie? I have no idea. Maybe my parents just bought it for me.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're
I
like,
remember those. It
those
was almost
called?
like, I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. The sheet was gray almost, right?
Yeah.
And
then you pull the other sheet off, but you could like draw on it, and then when you pull the sheet up, it would disappear, and you'd put it back down. I mean, it was kind of like a poor kid's Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah. So that's your only memory of Gremlins before this movie.
That is my only memory of Gremlins. Like, did they come out when I was 6? Why was this a thing my parents purchased for me when I was 6? I have no idea.
All right. Nick, what have you been watching?
Not much. I've been very busy at work, so I haven't had time to do anything.
Busy guy. That's good.
I just got home like maybe an hour ago from work, so
Yeah.
it's been a little stressful.
Yeah, you been listening to anything good? Christmas
No.
music on the way home?
Actually, no. I can't find a radio station that plays Christmas music, oddly enough.
Yeah. Might not be a bad thing.
I haven't been trying too hard, granted, but
Yeah.
I did hear a funny Christmas story on the radio, though.
Yeah.
I could tell that one.
All right, let's hear it.
So apparently there was some guy, I don't know where he was at, but his Christmas packages kept getting stolen. Like when you have like a delivery, and people come up and run off and take off your package before you can get home.
Yeah.
I guess it only happened a small handful of times over the past couple of years, but he was like getting pissed about it. So he wanted to catch the guy, or at very least pull a prank. So I guess the other week, this guy was having a party at his house, and by happenstance, everyone brought their dogs. I don't know what the party was, but they brought their dogs. So the guy had a brilliant idea. He took all the dog poop that all the dogs had and put it inside a box.
Yeah.
And he put it outside his door as, like, haha, joke's on you.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, whoever was stealing the packages stole the box of poo and like ran off with it. And I guess like further down the street when he was opening it up, he saw as a dog, a box full of poo, and the guy dropped it. Well, somehow this guy got caught on tape this time around, and they shortly arrested him. But it's just kind of like the guy got his comeuppance.
Good story. Might I make a recommendation on something to listen to?
Sure.
I've been listening to Spotify, and I've told all my coworkers about this. But Spotify has a hip hop Christmas playlist it's so good. It's so fun to listen to. It starts off with Eazy-E doing a Christmas song, and then it turns into the Quad City DJs of Space Jam fame, along with a whole bunch of other ones after that, including some Kanye Christmas style, and it's really good.
Well, I'm done. Nope. If it's
I
Kanye
think
on
it
there,
sounds amazing. Amazing.
It's really fun.
Although
you had me up until you said, "Oh, they have Kanye." Like, done. Nope.
You're not a fan of
Kanye's friends with the president-elect, so like, you're not friends
because
with the
Kanye's a sellout. That's why.
I don't know what's going on with him. He continues to defy us. We want to like him, but he's just like, nope. Everybody will hate me. All right. Jen, what have you been watching?
Nick, didn't you also see Office Christmas Party?
Oh, yeah, I guess I did watch that. I'm sorry, this whole week's been a blur. I did see. Thank you for reminding me of the things I do in my life when you're not around.
Somebody's got to keep track, and it's not going to be you.
I did see the new release, Office Christmas Party, starring T.J. Miller and Kate McKinnon and Olivia Wilde. and Olivia Munn.
Yeah, Olivia Munn.
And Jason Bateman and Jennifer Aniston, amongst a lot of comic talent.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I think my wife and I both were hoping for a little bit more. I don't know. I thought it was funny. It's based here and filmed in Chicago. That's
you
always a
seen-
nice thing to see.
Have you seen The Night Before with Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
I have not. I want to. Good?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been wanting to buy it for like the past month for Christmas, and I haven't because it's like it was like $12 on Amazon. I was like, I want it so bad, and I just kind of finally caved in because I was like, I like this movie so much. Part of it is because Michael Shannon is in it.
Oh, he is. That's worth seeing.
Yeah, and I just love his role in this. That's just so good. But yeah, like that's one of my favorite Halloween movies now.
You mean Christmas movies?
Yeah, sorry.
It's close.
But yeah, the Office party looked
Right.
just like it.
I've seen both, and because I saw, like, that was our Office thing, was we went and saw the movie, although I think my boss hated it. So I thought it was okay. Like, I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I love that it was filmed in Chicago, like, definitely, and not just like, oh, we had some establishing shots. No, it was like filmed here, which I love. But and I think there were a lot of like amusing bits, and I think it was entertaining, good for 2 hours, not one of the greats, not what I would hope from that group of people. It's definitely one of those movies where you're like, this movie was okay, but I think with this group of talent, you could have made it better.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah, I felt like they were holding back a little bit at certain parts in terms of like the sheer zaniness. Like you could, there's hints of just craziness that they could do, such as in the beginning of the film where Jason Bateman and T.J. Miller knock down the Christmas tree in that department store and just run away like little kids. I was expecting more, crazy hijinks. And you really don't get that so much.
Yeah, it's okay. I thought, it definitely touched on some issues of, companies and, wanting to make profits at the expense of people. Which and I think it's always interesting when you see like mainstream entertainment trying to touch on issues of like class in America.
I feel that's an old school that movies do that a lot, going back to like classic teen films that like they're gonna tear down the mall that we love to hang at to build a high rise. We gotta save it. Yeah, it's definitely an easy, not an easy, but definitely a workable premise for a film.
But I feel like that was a lot of 80s movies. I feel like as the class structure in America has become, or the wage gap has become more pronounced in America, we've also had, conversely, less of it in our entertainment. Like when you think sitcoms starring working class actors, or working class characters, you've got like Roseanne, and then like 20 years later there was Raising Hope, and now there's Superstore, and those are three I can think of, and there aren't too many more, that look at like really like working class people. So I always think that's really interesting. I'm not saying it's like the point of the movie, but I am saying I think it's interesting when they decide to touch on it, because you just don't see, as much of it as I think would be realistic, Everyone always has giant Friends style apartments and, that kind of thing.
That is true.
Anyway, I thought it was enjoyable for 2 hours. I will probably never think of it again.
Yeah, that's fair. If it was on like TV and I needed something on in the background, I'd keep it on, but I wouldn't necessarily go seek it out.
But I also feel like I think a lot of it would end up getting cut if it were on TV or like on an airplane, because there was a good amount of nudity.
That is, and male gorehound.
Yeah.
You'd appreciate it. There was some male nudity in there.
Nice. Was it T.J. Miller?
That's true. That's true. You see a dick.
Yeah? Oh, man. Now I have to see it. You don't see that very often.
Right. And not just a dick, but like a 3D printing of a dick.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like, there's a lot of clever little bits in the film. What I mean by on TV, like if it was on like HBO or something like that.
Yeah, okay, I'd watch it again on HBO, but not very closely.
No, if it was on, my old college roommate used to joke when a R-rated comedy would be on TV, it'd be like, Oh, it's not showing the movie. It's showing scenes from the movie.
Yeah. Good point.
Absolutely.
T.J. Miller was actually he was arrested for
Like allegedly, like smacking around a taxi driver or something.
Dude, no, he punched. I think it was an Uber driver because he got in an argument about Trump, and I was like,
Yeah, that's right.
"Go T.J. Miller." I mean, don't go punching just like
Don't,
Uber drivers.
Don't punch people. We're not pro punching Uber drivers.
Yeah, but he's arguing against Trump, so I'm like, go T.J.
Well, do we know that? Maybe he was like for, and the person was a Hillary defender.
No,
I think that's unlikely.
I'm pretty sure he's anti-Trump.
Anyway, so Gorehound, have you seen anything lately? Or I don't know, Jen, was that the only thing you had seen, or
that is it all week. Oh, I was gonna say we did. We moved very recently. We finally got the TV set up.
Yeah,
So
most
that's
important
cool.
thing.
But right. So and you don't really realize how much you love your TV until it's back up, and you're like, oh yeah, babe,
that's
come
like
back.
that's like the first thing I would put together.
Yeah,
in
first
place.
night.
Oh well, I wanted to have a bed. So I mean, I guess that's why we're different.
Bed, TV. You could sleep when you're dead. TV is now. So, Gorehound, what have you been watching?
I don't really have a whole lot of exciting stuff. I watched one movie. It was called Siren. It was a new release horror it was okay. You don't really see a whole lot of movies about sirens, so I like that. But it was
Like police sirens? Like it was like woo, woo, woo.
no, like the mystical sirens, the girls who sing and like lure men in, kind of like a succubus alternative.
I like my version better.
So I watched that, and it was forgettable. And then just the regular Vikings and Dark Matter, and reading my book. And I'm not really happy with how the Vikings is turning out, and I don't expect it to get any better. They brought Rollo back this episode, and he's, of course, everybody hates him, but I don't know. I really wish that he had turned out better, but I feel like we do need like a few antagonists for a multifaceted story. So yeah, nothing really exciting on that end. There is
do you have a man crush?
no.
I don't like where this is going.
No. Casey Affleck.
2 weeks. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been thinking about Casey Affleck quite a bit. He did a podcast with Mark Maron, and man, I was like, this guy is so cool. And so I'm going to start pursuing some of his movies, because I've seen a lot of his movies but never really gave him that much attention. So I'm going to try to seek a few of those out, because I know that the Graveyard Queen also likes him. So, benefits both parties to watch some Casey Affleck.
Well, he has a new movie out that's gained a lot of praise.
Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Is that with... Who's that with?
Michelle Williams is in it.
Okay, I must have been thinking of something else. But because he also talked about the Joaquin Phoenix movie, I'm Still Here, and like how he...
He directed that, didn't he?
Correct. Yeah. I remember seeing him, Joaquin Phoenix, on Leno, and I was so intrigued by that because that was so interesting. And it was only later that I realized, it was all fake. But it was a very good presentation.
I like how Letterman later on tried to be like, oh, yeah, I knew it was fake, when it's clearly obvious he had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, and it was so good about it because everybody was like, is this for real or isn't it? All right, we ready to begin Gremlins appreciation?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Did you have something you want to say?
No.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll talk all about it.
I've seen this movie many, many times, and I've grown to think of it as just a solid, one of my favorite movies. It is just so much fun for me. Nick, you watched it for the first time?
First time all the way through, yes.
And I'm hoping you loved it. No?
It was okay.
Okay.
I mean, it was good. I was entertained.
Where did it fall short?
A solid 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, depending on what my mood is. But I didn't love it the way I think you did.
Yeah. What marks was it not hitting?
I didn't give a crap about any of the main characters.
Oh, Billy.
Billy is not a character. He's just a guy.
He's a weird guy / boy who's still living in his parents' house, playing with toys, but still works at a bank.
Yeah, but he has no discernible qualities or he has no personality. He's
got curly hair.
He has curly hair, yeah. He likes to draw, which goes nowhere.
Dude, when he asks the girl out, you see so much behind him. He wants so bad to be in a relationship with this girl, and then she does, and he can't control himself.
Yeah, that okay, but he was boring. I mean, I had no reason. Like, if they killed him, I'd be like, okay.
No,
But
Billy.
the girl was just as weird. Like she was just had no personality as well, except she had the dumbest dad in the world.
She has a dead father. That monologue was like, do people dress up and then decide to go into their chimney without telling their wife? Like, that's weird, right?
Yeah, it is. It totally is. It's one of the things I'm like, what? Like, is it supposed to be funny? Is it supposed to be tragic? I don't know what they were going for.
Phoebe Cates, it is.
And it's almost like she was like, I hate Christmas, and how dare you bring up Christmas at Christmas time, you jerk. It's like, whoa, calm your shit down. No one knows about your crazy dad who tried to kill himself. Or he didn't try to kill himself, but he broke his neck in the. And how did this dad not think this thing all the way through? People can't actually fit down chimneys, but I guess I'm
Don't be insulting his intelligence.
Oh, I will be insulting his intelligence. Thank you very much. It's earned to be insulted.
Yeah, there are a lot of inconsistencies and plot holes in this movie, which are just blatant. But I can't
list some of them.
Like how the Gremlins somehow know everything about human culture despite being alive for 48 hours.
And the rules concerning them, like, don't feed them after midnight, but when does that end? Like,
yeah, that honestly bothered me the least, because it's one of those things. All right, it's a conceit. Just kind of go with it. But yeah, my wife, when we were watching together, she's like, every time they brought it up, like, how do they know when it's after midnight? And what time zone is it?
Well, they know because they turn into monsters.
That's true.
Right.
Jen, what did you think of this?
I mean, it was fun. I also feel like it's for kids, right? Like, but it's also like weirdly violent.
No, the way that I understand this is that it was meant to be like a violent movie, but then they like toned it down to make it more of like a kid's movie.
Much darker originally.
Right.
It just couldn't quite commit to what it wanted to be. And it was like, somebody, okay, so when I say somebody, I mean Thor, was watching with me, and also shared with me, so having never seen the movie, had a ton of trivia to share with me.
Because there's a lot going on in this movie. The cameos and Joe Dante. Right,
the stuff on the movie theaters, at playing at the movie theaters. But anyway, so we're watching this movie, and it was, I mean, like, he said that it was one of the first movies that, like, or one of the arguments for why we needed a PG-13, something between PG and R, was because of this movie, and people, like, brought their kids to it, and then were like, what?
Yeah. Like, horrified.
Yeah, because it definitely, like, should be like a PG-13 movie, but yeah, it was really interesting. I'll tell you, one of the things that I kind of like got a kick out of, like, again, I would agree with Nick that, like, none of the characters are people, and the tone felt a little strange. Like, I think the monologue the girl had about her dead father in the chimney was supposed to be funny, but, like, was it supposed to be funny? Like, I laughed, but also felt like I was not necessarily on the same page as the actress. Like, the actress had been told to play this straight, and I was thinking it was supposed to be a parody, but, like, was it?
And there's no payoff to it at all. It's just kind of like thrown in there and like, okay.
Like, her dad's dead and she's sad, which is, that's okay. But, like, then there's no, like, overcoming it and growing to, like, love the holiday or anything. It's just like, here's a thing, here's a thing, here's a thing. I was really expecting at the end of the movie that, like, when the Chinese Japanese guy, must have been Japanese, showed up, again, and was like, hey, give me back my gremlin. Mogwai, right? Mogwai? Anyway, whatever. Yeah. When he shows up and takes back the gremlin, I kind of expected he was going to say, like, oh, you left your weird, mouth box at my place and people are lining up to get it. I thought there would be some sort of payoff with the dad being, like, a terrible inventor, but, like, that just kind of faded away. Like, I never felt like there was really a payoff there.
Yeah.
Can I add something else to that?
What's that?
Yes.
Another thing that didn't get paid off. At the beginning of the movie, the mom seems really depressed about her marriage and life.
And I would be too. None of these inventions work. I can't even have orange juice.
I don't know how they can afford anything.
Billy makes bank at the bank.
Apparently.
He steals money from the bank. That's why he's situated there.
And he just plays stupid.
Yeah.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And the story with Phoebe Cates and her dad. Billy must have been so stupid if the story just never came across. Because I feel like a story like that in a small town, you would have.
Oh yeah, that would be.
You know.
Like she'd walk into a restaurant and they'd be all like, they all start whispering awkwardness things around her.
And if he is in any sort of infatuation with this girl, he would have known this before.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, the first time you're hearing it, okay.
Especially since they seem to know each other for quite a while.
Right.
Can we talk about that, like, Judge Reinhold cameo?
I know that there were a lot of cameos. I don't know who that one is.
I don't know if it's supposed to be a cameo. Judge Reinhold, more famous for his role in the Beverly Hills Cop movies.
Yeah, this guy.
He like has like one scene where he's like being a jerk to Billy. So I'm thinking, oh, the Gremlins are going to come and get him later, and he's never seen for the rest of the film. I'm like, why would you get someone of? I don't know how big of a name he was back then. I don't know if this was before or after Beverly Hills Cop. It was right around the same time. But like, why would you get like someone of like his level, not A-list, but not like D-list, and just have him in one throwaway scene that amounts to nothing?
Maybe they were trying to create a universe to connect with Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Guys, we have to talk. I have to tell you. Okay. So while we're watching the movie, we see this, cameo or scene or what have you, and I was like, God, whatever happened to this guy? And Thor looked at me and he was like, I am so glad you asked. Because apparently last weekend, so we're recording this on the 15th, so we're talking like last weekend, 6 days ago or so, he got pulled over at an airport and the TSA agent said, hey, you need to go back, we need to like do some further investigation here, you set off an alarm. So he started stripping at the airport.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about that.
Yes. And like fans were taking pictures, and there's a picture of him like half naked giving a fan the thumbs up while a police tried to, was like taking him away. So, so I think he's living his best life. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Who hasn't had the TSA haul them away after trying to strip at the airport?
Doing the best he can.
So anyway, amusing story of the day. That is apparently happening.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That small world. But yeah, it's just like a lot of weird things that are just thrown in the movie, and it's kind of like, okay, why is this in here? But,
speaking of characters, Corey Feldman is in this movie.
Yeah.
As the awkward friend to Billy, who you can't really tell what their relationship is because
he's like 8.
There's clearly at least a 5 to 10 year age difference between these two.
Billy's got to be college age. Do you think that's about right?
But he's in high school.
Yeah, I read him as a high school student, but like also works at the bank? ?
Right.
Well, see, that's what I thought, because he also goes and gets a beer or something.
Oh yeah, that was it. Like, so he has to be 21.
Yeah.
Unless he's in like Wisconsin or Canada. Well, no, they stay where it is, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's definitely the U.S. So it's small town USA.
Okay,
but
so
like
maybe 18.
Like, I'm thinking he's at least in his college age. He must have had like a good relationship with that science teacher, which is why he went back to him. But
yeah.
Well, that's true. He's got the science teacher.
Still playing with toys.
And plus Phoebe Gates, that's her name. No, Cates.
Yeah.
The girl, she works at the bar, so she has to be over 21.
Right.
I'm thinking the two of them are about approximate in age.
Very weird relationship.
Yeah, they don't, I don't know, unless they're just neighbor kids or neighbor friends have known each other forever.
Right.
I don't know.
But I think they're dating though, right?
Who's that? The Corey Feldman and Billy?
Oh no! I'm sorry. I thought we were still talking about Billy and Kate. No, I don't understand the neighbor kid. Like at the age of 21, I did not want like a child hanging out in my bedroom while I took off my shirt. That's weird, right? Like that's a weird scene.
Yeah, I didn't think much of it at first, but I guess in closer examination, it's a little weird. It's a little weird.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a dude, but it's weirder when it would be a dude, right? That's weird. It's weird. It's a weird thing to do.
Well,
especially in the 80s like that.
Well, I think guys are more likely to take their shirts off in front of other guys, and not feel as awkward about it. Because like a lot of locker rooms, you're just like walking around without your shirt on, and I don't know if that's how it is.
That's a locker room. You expect it when you're an 8-year-old boy and you go into another friend's bedroom who's like 20 years older than you, and he starts taking off his clothes.
But why are you friends with a 20-year-old man? Like, why? Why is this happening?
The only thing, and I'm just speculating, the only thing I can think of is they've known each other almost all their lives. They almost have a brother relationship. And with a small town where everyone knows everyone, it may not be as odd. I'm not saying that is the reason. I'm not trying to defend it because it is kind of odd, but I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little weird. Got a little craziness going on. Yeah.
This movie was also written by Christopher Columbus.
Yeah. He found America, and then he wrote Gremlins.
Who also directed numerous fantastic movies, including Home Alone, Miss Doubtfire.
Speaking of Home Alone, to go off topic here, Gorehound, we got your Christmas card the other day.
Ah, yes.
It's pretty delightful.
It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
For those of you listening, his Christmas card was Home Alone themed, where he and the Graveyard Queen took the place of the burglars, and one of their cats was photoshopped making the Kevin McAllister hands-on-face screaming pose. So
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Yeah. I got a hearty chuckle out of all of that.
Yeah.
No, it was delightful.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
But that can move right along, because this movie kind of like brings in a whole bunch of other movies, and most particularly the Wizard of Oz. It's a Wonderful Life. You guys saw that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because they're watching it?
Well, there's just a few connections. Like the Wizard of Oz was when they're in the bank and that old cranky lady comes in.
Yeah, I did think of the Wicked Witch. Like, I'm gonna get your dog.
Right, and then at the same time being the wonderful. It's a
that
Wonderful
one.
Life.
Oh yeah, because like one of the main characters worked at the bank or something, right?
Right, and the ratchety guy who owns all the land is like, no, you guys all have to pay rent, even more. And pretty much the same thing that ratchety old woman did. But yeah, this movie pulls in a lot of different references to other movies, which I don't know, I think adds to the value of it.
It took forever for the Gremlins to actually show up, which I kind of half expected it to, but man, oh man, I was like, man, I know the Gremlins are going to do something funny. When are they going to show up? And when they did, they don't disappoint. It is kind of over-the-top ridiculous,
right,
how they are. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, and each of the dolls are animatronics or puppets.
Yeah,
they're puppets.
Were fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
They're so fun, and I don't know. It's
like they could have easily made those things look like Muppets, and they don't. It looks almost like a real, outside of some shots, but for the majority, they look like real breathing creatures.
And I don't think that they're overplayed or underplayed. I think they have just the right amount of screen time.
Yeah.
Like in contrast to like the Minions, where they have their own movies, and I think, I don't know, I don't really value the Minions that well. But if they had made a movie of all Gremlins, hence Gremlins 2, it's just not.
Yeah, I mean they use just right. Like they build up to it. They have a couple of action scenes where you find out the mother is bloodthirsty, and
Wait, what is that?
Well, when the mother starts like killing the Gremlins left and right, it's oh my god, where did this aggression come from?
Yeah,
well, but I think she can't chop up her layabout husband,
She's like getting it all out with the Gremlins.
I think so. I mean, I would be angry too. Like, get a real job.
No, I feel like that's a holdover from the more violent aspect of the movie, because I could easily be seeing that in Gremlins, the rated R version.
Yeah, it was just weird because up until then she's been like, average small town mother stereotype.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, maybe that's part of the joke, I don't know, but all of a sudden she's just like, stab, 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 blender, and just put you in the microwave, and just ridiculous.
Guys, I'm not I'm not like a bloodthirsty, movie watcher. I don't think we need more guns in movies. But I will say, as I was watching, I kept thinking, like, does no one in this town have a gun? Like, why don't you just shoot these things?
I know, for small town
Because all
America.
the small town cops are just dumb and stupid until like an hour and 10 into the movie.
But the local people, I would imagine they'd be all gun nuts. And they'd, especially the tractor guy who like doesn't like to buy foreign anything.
You got gremlins.
But
Yeah, no, okay, wait, here, I have a follow-up question. Like, is this movie racist? I couldn't quite decide, because
I think in the same way, like Breakfast at Tiffany's is racist. I think.
I mean, Breakfast at Tiffany's is definitely racist. Like, this guy, like, I mean, like, that whole thing was weird. It's weird that the Gremlins are named after what the racist guy in the town is like muttering about the Japanese, even though the guy who sells them the gremlin or sells them the
Mogwai. Gizmo. Just
like,
call him Gizmo.
he lives in Chinatown, but then he's talking about how the Japanese are putting gremlins in the machinery, and then that's what we name the movie after? Like, the rantings of a racist man? Like, that's weird, right? It would be like naming a movie after Twitter, after like Trump's Twitter account or something.
Give it time. Hollywood will do that.
Oh no.
You've just given Hollywood an idea. I won't
Hollywood
lie.
Listening?
Sure, why wouldn't they be?
Okay, Hollywood, I've got some requests.
No, I think that the name it attracts a huge audience because you first see Gizmo, which is very cute, and you're like, oh, I want to see more about this. And then you switch to the Gremlins, and you're like, you get, the more violent crowd like myself who get really excited about that. And it kind of brings everybody together like that. It's a very bipolar movie, but I think it works that way because it flows, and you have a reason that it flows.
Is it Amy bipolar?
No debut by Amy bipolar yet.
With the whole racist, I don't think it was inherently racist. I think that guy who is framed to be a cartoon, we're not supposed to sympathize with him. Like, even the characters are like, all right, this guy is a crazy lunatic. He's never shown in a sympathetic light. So I just think it was like Joe Dante's way of saying, like, look at this backwards racist hick. And then he is killed by gremlins. So it's kind of like it's fitting in the way that he gets his comeuppance. So I see what you're saying, but I think it's different in the way Breakfast at Tiffany is different. Like, this guy is bigoted and racist, but it's written intentionally so.
Right. But then the character who sells him the thing, is that a racist stereotype? It feels like a racist stereotype.
Like from the beginning?
Mr. Wing.
Mr. Wing. I'd be curious. Yeah, I'd be curious what fans have said about him over the years.
I mean, here's my thought. I guess you can make the argument that it plays in the old stereotype that things with Japanese culture is old and mysterious and magic and all of that. But I don't think himself was necessarily a stereotype. He was just a junk dealer who lived in Chinatown, so he's going to be Chinese. But like, it's not like he was going in and, with the oversized teeth being played by a white guy and talking in a horribly racist accent. I don't know. Like, I see what you're going for, but I don't think it's as bad as, say, Breakfast at Tiffany's.
No, Breakfast at Tiffany's, I mean, at least this man appeared to be like a person of color. So that's good.
I got a theory on that guy, which we'll talk about later. But
not a white guy in makeup. So, like, already doing better.
And like his grandson was big on, listen, we need the money. I'll just sell you this thing. So it's like even that guy even the grandson was more Americanized than anything else. But
right,
I don't know.
There's a price for everything.
Mm-hmm. Since we're on the topic, let's talk about that Chinese guy. So his name is Mr. Wing.
Yeah.
Is he identified as such in the movie? I only ask because I can't recall.
I think so. I don't know why I think so, but sometimes I watch the movie with subtitles, and I think I saw that.
Okay. Because I have a theory that Mr. Wing is, in actuality, Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And here's my evidence. Besides the fact that, Steven Spielberg was involved in both movies, he Short Round would have been about the approximate age that Mr. Wing was in the film. and his grandson is wearing the exact same baseball cap that.
Oh, you're
Short
talking about the
Round-
child.
No, not the child. The child. I think the child is Short Round's grandson. I'm thinking the old guy was Short Round, like the actual character, not the actor.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm thinking they're like the old guy when he was like 10 or something, hung around with Indiana Jones and saved all the Indian children from the crazy person, and eventually just went to America and opened up a junk dealership because he was big into antiques because of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and maybe he found the Mogwai, on some ancient civilization and took it back.
Exactly. And then he had kids, and his kids had a grandkid, and he gave his grandson the same baseball cap that he had when he was hanging out with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Just my theory, but it makes a lot of sense to me.
So no, you said you had something else you wanted to talk to. What's your theory on Mr. Wing?
I just said it.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
I'm so glad you're paying attention to these things.
Jen apparently thinks that was a
No,
letdown theory.
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I've never seen Indiana Jones.
Really? What's wrong with you?
You only watch movies
boring.
that have been out in
It's
the
not-
past 5
How
years.
Indiana Jones is not boring.
Oh, they look so boring.
It's like amazing.
The original ones are so good. They're so much fun.
No, I have stuff to do, guys. Like I don't have time.
I need to see some new releases.
You do.
And you need to go watch like classic movies, Jen, like Indiana Jones.
Okay, maybe like next week. Next week.
Okay,
I watched the classic release of Gremlins.
Thank you.
that's true, but
So I'm a good person.
What did Thor have any opinions on this in particular?
I mean, I think he was also shocked too. So here's the thing about Thor. Like he had seen Gremlins 2 before this.
Yeah.
And he really liked Gremlins 2, and then watched this, and he's like, you know what? I think I made the right choice loving Gremlins 2 as opposed to watching the original. Now, I did not watch Gremlins 2. I felt like this was enough Gremlins for me. But he's very insistent that like that one's good. Now, like you've seen both, right? Gorehound, what do you think?
I mean, I do not enjoy the second one at all. The Gremlins. There's this one Gremlin that just drives me crazy. It's the one that replaces Gizmo, and he just ruins the movie for me.
I thought.
Oh,
Gizmo
they don't
was,
have Gizmo?
Say it again.
I thought Gizmo was in number 2.
He is, but like he switches places, like one of the other bad Gremlins.
Oh, he becomes a bad gremlin?
Like there's a Gizmo lookalike. Billy has his Phoebe Cates like take Gizmo, and she doesn't know who Gizmo is very well, and so she sees him. He looks the same because she's racist, and she says all Mogwai look the same. And this isn't Gizmo. It's some other like stripe like Mogwai. I'm sorry. It's a weird movie.
I've heard that Gremlins 2 generally is universally panned compared to the first one.
Right. It's just so it's very slapstick. It doesn't go very deep. It's pretty much just like pushing the limit for pushing the limit.
The story that I have heard is that Joe Dante did not want to make a Gremlins 2. He's like, the story's been told. There does not need to be a Gremlins 2. But whatever movie company that did this, what movie is it? Warner Brothers just came up to him with a dump truck full of cash and said, "Here, make Gremlins 2." And so he did it, but he kind of made it his way with complete control, and kind of like gave the finger to like various like kind of gave the finger to the idea of like, all right, I'm going to make the most ridiculous movie to see how much I can actually get away with.
Yeah.
And then and then hence the Gremlins 2, which I believe you have a gremlin that is wearing a suit and turtleneck through most of the movie, if I'm not mistaken. And he's looking like he's like talking like Tony Randall or something crazy like that.
Oh yeah, the brain gremlin. Yeah, let me see, because there were quite a few.
Brain gremlin.
No, apparently Hulk Hogan makes an appearance.
I don't know. And I think doesn't Gizmo dress up as Rambo sometime during the middle of the movie?
Thor was very clear that happens.
He says that's my favorite part.
So I guess it's like one of those films that continually winks at the camera, and it's like, hey, look how clever we are. So yeah, but
Howie Mandel is the voice of Gizmo in both of them.
that is so weird to think.
It's always very funny to me when you find out that like somebody, famous did the voice, but the voice is just like bird noises or like, and you're just like, you hired Howie Mandel so that he could just go, like, why? You could have had an intern do that.
Like, speaking of crazy people doing crazy voices, and you're thinking, huh? In the latest Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, one of the characters, BB-8, Bill Hader does the voice for BB-8, despite the fact that all the sounds that BB-8 does are beeps and boops.
Yeah.
I feel like I knew that.
Why wouldn't you just use a keyboard?
Wait, follow-up question, like, Nick, why aren't you at the nerd movie tonight?
Oh yeah, I wanted to say, as of the recording of this, many people are watching Rogue One as we speak.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to see the movie at midnight the night before.
I already know what happens.
But now you can see, now the midnight release starts at like 7 p.m. because nothing is sacred anymore.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure my wife and I will go and see it eventually, probably within the next week or so. But
is that why you were late to the podcast tonight?
No, I was late to the podcast because my computer hates me and decides to shut down. And it's Star Wars, not Star Trek, so there's a different sort of expectations and necessity. And Jen, you say I don't see new movies anyway, so your mocking tone I don't appreciate, because if I was there, I would be seeing a new movie. So
didn't you watch the new Star Trek like 2 days before your wedding?
No, 2 days after the wedding.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was trying to go and see it after the rehearsal.
Oh yeah.
But the times of the movie and everything just didn't work out.
Right.
But like, if the timing had worked out, you would have, between your rehearsal the night before and the actual wedding the next day, you would have gone to see your nerd movie.
Yeah, because I think
we were looking up the times.
Yeah, and it wasn't just me going. I was going to try to get like some of the other people in the wedding party to come too. But yeah, it just wasn't working out time wise. But yeah, it would have added to the experience of the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Right. I remember when I was at your wedding, I was like, food's good, dancing's great. Wish there was a nerd movie.
Hey, if I didn't have any self-control, I would have disappeared for 2 hours during the wedding. Like, wow, that guy's wearing a tux to see Star Trek. He must really think this is classy.
Yeah.
There was a great wedding picture I saw. It was some couple, I want to say they like lived in Australia but were from Michigan, and so they had come home for this wedding, but like left their wedding to go watch some hockey game. So there's this great picture of the two of them like scarfing down hot dogs, and he's wearing a tux and she's wearing like a wedding dress, and it's fantastic. They're like in the stands at this hockey game. I did find that cute.
As soon as when we got married, we like couldn't eat anything during the wedding because everything was just going on, and so we ended up going into like a Potbelly's. Just like ordered it, and I tried to get like some free food because I was like, we just got married, like anything, and they were like, no, what do you want?
So Potbelly's is not friendly to the recently married.
They are not.
Well, let's get back to the Gremlins.
I wanted to
talk about weddings.
I wanted to mention that there is a Gremlins 3 reported.
They've been saying that for like 20 years.
Have they?
Where could the story go at this point? Like, as the super fan, do you have some plans for what this movie would entail?
Well, maybe I might be reserving that for our special January episode. What would you do?
Okay. I
don't know. I did not even know that there was anything reported, but Zach Galligan and Joe Dante are on board. But Zach Galligan is 51 years old now, and I don't think he would have the same charm that he did.
They could do a Star Wars The Force Awakens where his kid encounters the Gremlins.
I mean, they did resurrect Star Wars but I don't think anybody can resurrect this because it was already weird and enough. And Star Wars wasn't weird when it came out. It was like legitimately good when it came out. And this is not. So I don't really think it could really, rise to that level again. I also did want to mention that Mogwai is a name of I don't know what genre to call them, but I listen to them quite frequently. They're a very chill out band. If you ever get around to checking them out, they are named after, the Mogwai.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, any what's on your mind?
I have some trivia for tonight. It's not in the form of a question, but just see if you knew this one, Gorehound.
Okay.
Did you know that in the original did you catch the Steven Spielberg cameo in the movie where he's driving around on like a little scooter at the invention convention?
No, but I knew that he was somewhere in there.
I was like watching the movie. I'm like, wait, is that Spielberg? I had to rewind. I'm like, yeah, it totally is Spielberg.
Yeah.
My trivia is in the original version of this, Gizmo was supposed to turn into Stripe.
Yeah.
And he would have become the central antagonist. But Steven Spielberg was like, no, Gizmo is too cute and cuddly, and people are going to like him. They're not going to want him to become a villain.
Yeah, because Gizmo lives on.
Well, and I'm assuming they made a gazillion dollars selling Gizmo dolls.
Yeah, I'm still looking for one.
I was at the comic book store the other day. No surprise
Obviously.
there. And I walked past because they have like toy action figure collectibles, and they had a bunch of Gremlin action figures, but they're like Mogwai, but they're all like different named. I'm like, who are these characters? So I don't know if they just made it up for like an action figure line, or if the Mogwai before they turned into the Gremlins were given individual names, and I just didn't even realize it. So
what were some of the names? Do you remember?
I think one was named like Penny. That's the only one that immediately sticks out in my mind.
Huh. They
didn't have a huge selection, just a few like 2 or 3 of the same ones. It just like caught my eye. I was like, what? This looks like Gizmo. Why are they not calling it Gizmo?
Yeah, because none of them had like unique names like Gizmo. They were all kind of just named after what they looked like.
Were they action figures of them cute or ugly?
Cute.
Okay.
That's what threw me. If they were like ugly, then like, okay, I wouldn't have thought of it because there were a ton of Gremlins within the first movie. They probably all had specific names just to keep them straight. They were in their cute form. So that's what was like, huh? Say what?
Gizmo is quite the cutie pants.
He reminded me of my cat, Indiana.
See, I don't know. I mean, he was cute, but like also they were sort of like it was kind of like E.T. Like E.T.'s cute, but like not very cute because they're also sort of gross.
Right, they're just like furless hand and their ears
The
are
scene of them eating chicken was
it's so sick.
Like why is chicken stringy? Like what's happening to this chicken?
Just slobbering all over the place.
Well, those guys were sick, but Gizmo I thought was kind of cute. I think what helped was how animatronic his eyes and his expressions were. Like that little scene where he's pretending to like drive the car. That was well done.
I think the puppetry stands the test of time. Like they did a really good job with that.
Dude, how was he driving the car?
Because it was a race car, wasn't it? Like an RV sort of thing.
Right. Who had the controller?
See, there's another thing that doesn't make sense about this movie. People who say this is the perfect movie clearly don't know what they're talking about. I can see why it's a cult classic because it's so weird.
And it's so fun.
Yeah, I don't say that this is a particularly good movie.
We'll end
with Ghostbusters, that's for sure.
All right. We'll end with our favorite scenes. Okay? My favorite scene is hands down the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs sing, where all of the Gremlins are in the movie theater and they're singing along to it. Favorite scene.
You impersonated that a couple of episodes back, too.
Oh my gosh, I just love it. I turn the volume up real loud and tell the Graveyard Queen to be quiet for a little bit.
Does she love that?
No, she gets a little frustrated. But it doesn't matter because it's my favorite scene. Favorite movie. So, Nick, what was your favorite scene?
I kind of like the scene where they're in the bar.
Oh,
where
yeah.
they're just acting all crazy.
Where he flashes
that was kind of funny. What's it? Yeah. Like, here's the thing that was weird about that is that she continues to serve them, and she's really not too weirded out by the fact that there's all these gremlins, she seems more stressed out with how obnoxious they are with wanting their drinks.
I thought that she was like locked in there, like there were gremlins like out in the back entrance and back in the kitchen. The only way that she could stay there was by, appeasing their needs.
That's probably true, but
that's probably
she wasn't
still far-fetched.
Freaked out.
Right.
Jen, what about you? What was your favorite scene?
If I had to pick, let's see. I did kind of enjoy some of the like world building in terms of, his work at the bank, and then the maid lady shows up and is mean to him for absolutely no reason.
Oh, and I want to kill your dog.
Right. Like I just kind of enjoy when characters are just kind of unabashedly terrible. I enjoyed she had, a little bit of a Cruella de Vil thing going on, and I'm not sure. Somebody somewhere has probably written about like depictions of women in media who want to kill animals and like why this pops up as a trope. But I thought that was kind of like that was just kind of fun. Am I evil? Yes. Do I have some crazy like Bulgarian snowman that got broken and it's, and I'm blaming these people and I'm going to come yell at this kid? Yes. All right, lady, you do you. I just kind of enjoy the idea that there's like this small town in America where everyone is kowtowing to like the one rich person, That did remind me very much of like a oh gosh, what is it? A Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I felt like she was the Bob Cratchit without the ghosts of Christmas current and past and future.
Do you mean Scrooge? Because Cratchit was the shit-on employee.
Cratchit is the employee. Oh my god. Well, you know what? Clearly we need another version of A Christmas Carol. Like the problem is I haven't seen enough versions of A Christmas Carol. But yeah, no, it was very, very much a Scrooge sort of situation. Only, she doesn't improve. She's just terrible and then continues to be terrible. The end.
And then she's killed.
And she's killed, right? Yeah, like again, you know what? I'm gonna say it again. I feel like we shouldn't solve movie problems with violence, but I feel like you could have just murdered these guys with guns. Oh, wait, and here's my other favorite scene.
No, she's on a roll.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I enjoyed the dog, right? Like the dog was
Barney.
very much in there. Yeah, was very much in there for reaction shots, but was very cute and was pretty cute. But then there was the scene where the gremlins like strung him up, like hung him in Christmas lights, and I was like, what is happening? Who is this movie for? But I enjoyed that it kind of went like really dark, where they tried to kill the family pet. Like that's really dark. I found that sort of enjoyable.
I think I was reading one of the early versions of the script, they actually do kill the dog.
Oh my god.
I'm kind of glad they took that out.
Yeah, because I bet it was the scene where he's like all hung up in the Christmas lights.
Yeah, right.
I could see that going dark.
Well, it is dark. Like it is dark to string up an animal in Christmas lights. Like that is, maybe, Gorehound, I don't know what your Christmases are like, but like that's not how my family has traditionally celebrated. And like it's so dark. Like it's so dark. And then the family, like, I don't want to say they don't react enough, but at the same time they're like, oh well, we'll just send him to what, your aunt's house or whatever, it'll be fine. And I'm like, I think you should call your terrible small town cops. And you should at least mention this.
Yeah, because they thought the old woman did it, didn't they?
Yeah, well, the mom kept saying, well, we don't know that it was the old woman. Which, like, I know the old woman was, like, angry at them and was saying all these terrible things, but, like, that does not seem to be, like, tiny rich ladies style. So, it's kind of one of those cases where you're like, are there no adults in this town? Like, what's happening here? Why is nobody upset? Why is nobody going to like the town council? Anyway, so yeah, I kind of enjoyed like these glimpses of small town America that were like super batshit.
All right, that will conclude this episode of Gremlins Appreciation Night. I am the Gorehound.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Jen.
We are the All New Culture Cast. See you next week.
You've been listening to the All New Culture Cast, where every episode is all new. Check out our blog, Zach and Nick's Culture Cast, at znculturecast.wordpress.com.
and find us on social media. Send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, comments, and requests. Theme music by bensound.com. The all-new CultureCast, a saltwater production, copyright 2016.